how to buy a dental practice without burning your nachos. I am so thrilled to be here with Dr. Sierra. We're going to meet with her in just a second. She's going to share her story on buying a dental practice and making her dreams come true while avoiding a few nightmares along the way. I want to share with you that Dentist Job Connect is here to help you hire an associate or find a job that is the right fit for you. To get connected with us, just text HIRE to 215-798-9897. It is totally free at this time to find a job through Dentist Job Connect at no cost. There is an affordable and amazing way for practice owners of any size from 1 to 100 locations to connect with our awesome community of dentists who are looking for a job right now. At the time of this recording, we have over 1,000 resumes uploaded on dentistjobconnect.com, 3,000 registered job seekers, and we'll share your ad with our 60,000 member dentist community. So we would love to share more with you how this works by texting HIRE to 215-798-9897 or checking out dentistjobconnect.com. So Dr. Sierra, thanks so much for being here. You are on Nacho TV with me. I so appreciate your DMs about sharing your story with us. Catch our audience up or orient our audience, who you are, where's your practice, when you graduated from dental school, and throw in your favorite nacho topping along the way.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Dr. Sierra DeMarree. I graduated from Boston University in 2019. I just recently bought my childhood practice in January. And one of my favorite dental nachos is getting myself up to date on the, implants and seeing how that I can incorporate that in my practice now, which doesn't have anything set up.
Awesome. I like what you said. Tell us a little bit. I'm into first steps. You talked about building your team. We're going to get to that in a minute. I love basketball. But you graduated in 2019. What was your first step after dental school?
So in New York, you have to do 1 year of a residency. So I applied to Eastman at the GPR because my husband actually worked at the same hospital. So I tried to get myself in at the same hospital he did. So I spent a year there, and that was 2019 to 2020. So I was a GPR graduate during COVID.
I gotcha. Tell us, are you glad you did a GPR?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I had a great experience with it because, so mine was a little bit different. My schedule got a little switched up. So I ended up spending a lot of time with the oral surgery department and the anesthesiology department. So I was doing IVs, I was intubating patients, extubating patients, the whole 9 yards. So I kind of thought that I have the rest of my life to do clinical dentistry. Yeah. I'm going to try to focus as much on all this really cool opportunities that I have right now, and then, have fun.
My team will share too. The key to being a successful dentist and not crying inside has to do with 3 C's: clinical skills, communication skills, and confidence skills. So when I was turning 32, Sarah, in my office, my team, please drop how you can watch in on the Level Up Your Clinical Game with Lincoln Harris online at no charge, or if you want to come to Philadelphia. My 31st birthday, Saturday, working at my dad's dental practice, trainer from my high school said someone got hit in the face with a field hockey stick. I said, send her over. And I would never have been confident to do that without a GPR. I was able to manage the problem, get her to an oral surgeon. So one of the things I want to share, if you're watching in, the tough love part of this is dental school does not really prepare you to deal with all the decisions you have to make in the real world of dentisting. A great GPR AGD will improve your clinical skills, your communication skills, but more importantly, your confidence skills. So even though you're not intubating patients today, Sierra, the fact that you did that, it infused a level of confidence into you that you didn't even realize at the time. Does that resonate with you?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely gained a lot of confidence, and your brain works a little bit different when you get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, because the prisoner got in a gang fight and you're trying to put his tooth back together. It totally changes your whole way of doing things, which dental school doesn't prepare you.
This is a funniest story with actually. So when I was a GPR resident, I was a chief resident, we had a lot of trauma. So somebody was in the ER handcuffed by the police, and this person thought it would be a good idea to try to run away from the police. So when in this, the police tackled him, broke his front teeth. They brought him up to the dental clinic on Friday morning. Why is this important? They brought some up in handcuffs for me to put his teeth back together, because Friday morning was pediatric dental day. And it was the only time I could have used it with the other kids. Say, you better be good. The police are here. So it was a very, I guess, happy accident. I was in the middle of putting together someone's face and teeth while my other co-residents were seeing children, and you just learn to deal with the other C. Basically, running a dental practice is like running a circus where the animals don't try to eat you, just slowly annoy you to death. And it's really key to get that. So you do your GPR. What happens next?
Yeah, so I always knew that I was planning on taking this practice over. So I was supposed to sign a contract to work full-time here at this office the day after COVID shut everything down. So that was like a huge hit because I was so excited to get in here, get this started. And the owner was kind of like, no, it's not going to happen right now. So we set a date of 2 years. So I went to a group practice, a private group practice, and I learned a ton from them. And
what are some examples of things that you learned in that private group practice that you didn't know before?
For sure. So I learned surgical extractions, like impacted wisdom teeth. I did perio surgeries. He was a really great mentor and would work over, your shoulder and help you learn how to do all of the things. And if you weren't super confident in it, he would gladly take over and show you how to do it.
Awesome.
So
well,
that was great.
Catch up people watching on Facebook and also my team to take some screenshots for Instagram, talking with the awesome Dr. Sierra about her journey to practice ownership as a newest dentist. If you text the word burn to 215-798-9897, we will text you a copy of this recording and a whole list of team members that will help you not burn your nachos in buying a dental practice from an attorney, a bank, dental focused accountant, buyer coach, and more. So you go through those 2 years and now tell us you're ready to buy this practice. And this is your childhood practice, correct?
This is my childhood practice.
We want to give you some promotion. What is your practice website?
So it's DeMarreeDental.com. And
that's your last name.
Yep, my last name.
Put that in the comments, DeMarreeDental.com. We'll make sure that's right afterwards. So you're ready to buy this practice. This is what's key. I don't know if you have any small human beings that live in your life, otherwise known as children, live in your house. I do. I got 2 of them. And it was so amazingly stressful to have our first child. We didn't know what to expect. And what I think is really important, Sierra, is to talk about kind of in having the child 7 months till the birth date, right? You're thinking about it, you're doing it. That's when you're going to bring this child home. And now this child is going to live with you as a permanent roommate for at least 18 years. So tell us a little bit before you take over the challenges, the cry inside parts, the exciting parts. If you talk about building your team, how did you build this team of people to have on your side?
So my biggest thing was I went to a lot of local meetings, like the Women in Dentistry meeting, the 7th District meeting, like a lot of those. And I found new dentists who just took over practices and just asked, hey, who did you like? Who didn't you like? And that helped me put together a huge team of people. And then I reached out and I sort of got their vibes on how they were, how confident they were, whether or not our personalities would match. And that allowed me to start creating the team. I started with an attorney who came to my GPR and did a presentation. And I found him when I signed up, or when I first signed on to that associate job, my first one, and I had him read over my contract. And then turns out he also did real estate, which was great.
I want to share this. You said an important thing. I tell my wife, I don't interrupt, I interject with good ideas. How important is it to have an attorney review your associate contract before signing it?
Extremely. It's worth the money. It really is.
What drives me a little bit nacho nuts is the inconsistent decisions young dentists make with money. They've taken out hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school. I understand that was a loan many times, but they say, I can't afford $750 for an attorney, Sierra. And I'm a kind annoyer of everyone. I say, oh, I follow you on Instagram and you follow me, and I see you in Cancun. Are there free trips to Cancun now? Because you found the $750 for that. And I will share with you, as someone who gets a ton of DMs into this phone about stories, one of the biggest problems is not having an attorney review your contract. Nothing bad happens. The attorney either says, hey, this is pretty good, let's make a few tweaks, or they say, there's so many red flags, run away from this job. So I really appreciate you sharing it. So you use the same attorney that you met for your associate contract, and now you're creating.
Actually, I used him to buy my house as
wow,
well.
cool.
And then I used him to buy the practice. And
You should get a discount on the fourth thing you use them for. You buy
right,
vacation,
I've got like a little
give you-
stamper thing.
Yeah. So tell the audience here, whether they're watching live or later, the attorney's there to create your agreement to buy this practice. They create the document to buy this practice. But you have to be invested in this process as well. You can't just say, hey, attorney, just make it and tell me later. Tell us a little about the experience of the document that you created to purchase this practice.
Yeah, so we spent hours and hours going over. So another thing that I would recommend is if your attorney does have a cap, try to negotiate that ahead of time. Because I'm the kind of person I want to explain and be explained to. I don't just assume everything is fine.
Right.
So yeah, go find the attorney that works best for you and just go over things. I don't understand what this means. Help me figure this out, because they have a template that they use, and then you pick and pull what you want.
And that's a really key point. So you have to be active in engaging with your advisors. Now, the next question I'll ask is, when we were kids, nothing happened unless our mom said it was okay, right? So if I said, hey, we're going to go sledding, and my mom said, you're not going to go sledding, we didn't go sledding, right? We didn't have the authority to overrule our moms. None of us did. So the bank is the mom of this deal, because the bank has to give you money. So you could love the practice. It could be your childhood dentist. You could love the culture of the practice. You could think it makes money, but if no one gives you money, you're not getting a practice. Am I correct here?
Right.
So someone had to give you money. How did you choose a bank to give you money?
So when I was having a problem with my mortgage for my house, and I went into the bank that I bought the house through's like lobby, and they had a big sign, and it was actually a dentist that had said, like, without this bank, I wouldn't have been able to buy the practice of my dreams. So I was like, great. I went up to the teller and I was like, can you get me in touch with the person that does that? And that's how I found my bank.
Now, is that a local or regional bank near you?
It's a regional bank near me. Yeah.
What's the name of that bank? We can give them some.
Tennessee Regional Bank. And I work with a guy named Dave Cushman.
I give them a lot of credit, because maybe you know this or don't know this, Sierra. It's rare for a lot of those banks to want to be involved in dental deals. They're usually we have these sponsors, Provides, the Huntington banks, that type of. So I think it's cool that you created a relationship with a regional bank. Do you do your banking there now after the loan, or do you do it somewhere else?
No, I do it there. I have another one that I've used since my childhood, because I grew up here and the bank is a 4-minute walk away. But
Gotcha.
For the most part, almost all of my banking is done at that bank.
So what are some of you're getting your dream of practice ownership, but you're avoiding some nightmares. Tell anybody listening, female dentist, male dentist, new dentist, media, what were some of the nightmare avoidances along the way? What were some of the watch out for this things?
So a lot of what it was is kind of figuring out who's in it for the money and figuring out who's genuinely there to help you.
Yeah.
A lot of times dentists would reach out and they'd be like, hey, let me, if you give me some money, then I'll help you with this aspect. Or if I give you money, then you're going to. So a lot of it was figuring that out. And
who's the person who helped you figure that out? Accountant, attorney, consultant, friend?
All of the above. I talked to literally everyone. I got everyone's phone numbers and I would just text, hey, do you know so-and-so in the community? I even talked to the other dentist in town and I asked him, I'm like, hey, you've been around for a little bit. What are your thoughts about these people? Were these people around when you bought the practice? So I just threw my feelers out to everyone.
So your network is so key. So what's interesting,
absolutely.
and I really believe this, and I say things that I believe in, even if they're uncomfortable. People go to dental school, Sierra, because they're smart and they like working with their hands and maybe science. And none of those skills are valuable in the business world. They don't help at all. What helps is the ability to put yourself out there. What helps is going to meetings when you don't want to go to a meeting because you might meet someone. What helps is developing relationships that have a roller coaster to them. So I really believe that some of the lack of fulfillment, satisfaction, sometimes the depression of dentists is that they don't really know what they were signing up for. Because as soon as you become a practice owner, it's all about relationships. And yes, you have to continue to make your clinical skills. But now tell me, as a practice owner, we have people watching it on Zoom. I see some of their names. I don't violate Zoom HIPAA. I'm not going to say their name. I don't know if that's a thing. but I know some of these people and they would like this. What is something being a practice owner that you just weren't prepared for? Dental school didn't teach you this. Nobody really knew. And you're like, this is a very, very stressful part of what I do every day.
So the biggest part for me is staff management and
Yeah.
managing their expectations. So these women that I'm working for, I've known since I was 6. They're all the same, just about. So having that relationship with them and sort of looking up to them as like my moms or grandmas or mentors, but also now I'm in the position of like, I'm the one that they come to for answers too. That's been one of the biggest things that took me a really long time to figure out, and I'm still figuring it out.
And that's a work, right? Just what I call it. This is my cry inside monster. This is where you feel like as a dentist sometimes, Sarah, keep your crying on the inside, you're sweating the outside. How do you manage? And I mean this in the most genuine way. It's not a gender thing, but it can be in your case. You know, they've known you since you were 6. These are women that you've known. How do you figure out how to sometimes be a leader and give tough feedback versus being their friend?
So it's been pretty easy because I think of myself, as you said, as a leader instead of as a boss.
Gotcha.
And I think that's a really important distinction that I made, because I'm not going to sit here and talk at you. I'm going to have you come to me with a problem and we're going to figure it out together. Because these women that are here know this job inside and out, and one has been doing it longer than I've been alive.
And I think that, and we can all learn from each other. And what I'll share with you is some insight from one of my coaches, SBI. You could use the situation behavior impact, because at some point you're going to have to tell people something they don't want to hear because they did something that caused a problem. And many times I've learned, whether it's my 4-year-old, whether it's my dental team, that they're not super into getting feedback that they don't love to hear. So when you make it about the situation behavior impact, I'll give an example. Maybe this will help someone. If you say to a dental assistant, you're always late, you're always late, you're always late, and this messes up everything for everybody, it's a feeling, right? And no one hears that and says, oh, I guess I don't want to be late anymore. And one of my mentees used this, the situation. Hi, Jane, because you were late on March 5th, that's the situation and the behavior. All of us needed to work through lunch because we weren't able to start our procedures on time. So this situation and behavior of not coming on time on March 5th had the impact of having all of us stay through lunch. What can we do to make sure this doesn't happen again? And even though they don't want to hear that, you feel how that's different, Sierra?
Yeah.
And so whenever you're in that mode, you're gonna remember me. Say, Paul said SBI. What's SBI? Because SBI removes your emotional anger, your emotional frustration. I mean, I'm part of the Dental Success Network. Please, Morgan and team, drop that. The Dental Success Network is a sponsor of this group. You should sign up at the end of this webinar. This Mark Costas, for $199 a month, has put together an amazing group of dentists in a safe, secure place to ask questions as practice owners. And a young female practice owner who I know from dental school, Sierra, just posted in there, I feel like no one's listening to me. My checklists don't get answered. Now, I'm not saying this is on brand for you, but what I'm sharing is the management of people in your dental practice is the stuff that really causes the cry inside thing. And I commend you for thinking of yourself as a leader, not a boss. Please put that on Instagram for us from Dr. Sarah. I think of myself as a leader, not a boss when I talk to my team. So you're sharing awesome value here. So how long have you owned this practice for?
So I closed January 3rd of this year.
So we're like 9 weeks into this.
So we are 9 weeks into it. And one of the most disheartening things was at the beginning, just watching the bank account go down and down and down, and no insurance checks were coming in. And that sucked.
Yeah. That caused you financial anxiety. And that's normal. I mean, what I want to share is with people, and I use this a lot. I think of money in a business like gas in a car. And if you're going to take a long trip and you didn't have any gas, it's very normal to have anxiety because you might get stuck in the middle of the road. So it's not being negative. It's not worrying too much. It's totally appropriate to have intensity over the money that comes into your practice, because without having money in your practice, you can't help anybody. Your team can't make money. So how do you manage the money part of this? Do you have an accountant that helps you, a bookkeeper?
Yeah, so I have an accountant that helps, and I found him by asking another female dentist that just took over practice a town over, who her and her friends have used. So it turns out that accountant is good friends with the banker. And so, it all ended up working out because those two already had a personal
So you're
communication.
continuing building your basketball team of staying sane and successful, right? You're still putting people on this team
Oh,
of
yeah.
staying in success. So I'm sure that your accountant is somebody, even if this is an overly simplistic answer, does this person make you feel more secure about the financial anxiety that you have to go through?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I email him anytime, dumb questions. I told him I have zero financial literacy. And I'm like, and again, I like to be explained things. So I would just text him. I'm like, I've got stupid questions, but I need help. And he would be like, yep, let me help you out with that.
I love that. So a couple things of value share for my Nacho team listening. Our text burn to get the advisors, our text DSN for the Dental Success Network. Highly recommend you join that. It'll be the best $199 you spend per month, Sierra. And also sharing our transitions basketball team, because what you're echoing is if you don't have people on your side, it's impossible to play this game. If you don't have people on your side helping you with the stuff, and really actually what you've shared, Sierra, is all outside the operatory stuff. Let's go inside the operatory, and it's totally normal to feel this way. How have you developed your clinical skills while you're doing business skills and owning the practice? How have you handled that challenge, whether it's CE, study clubs, online stuff? Just curious about that.
So I've joined quite a bit of the local study clubs, and that helps me network even further, because now I'm friends with, and reaching out to the periodontists in the area who he's willing to come in and help our team develop our perio protocol. So it's joining study clubs and meeting more people and asking them if they'll help that's what's been helping me the most. Dentistry will come and go. You'll have crappy crowns, you'll have great crowns, you'll have endo, whatever. That'll always be consistent.
I love that message of reaching out for help when you need it. I gave a lecture to a bunch of the dental students for an AS event. I said, ask for help, give help, get help. We're all in that world. Sometimes I'm asking for help. Sometimes I'm giving help. Sometimes I'm getting help. I want to make sure my team tags Dr. Darcy Naveau, because Dr. Darcy Naveau is going to be part of our boost camp this year. My team, if you tag Morgan Bellis to share the boost stuff, we put together a special camp for practice owners. So Dr. Darcy came to this. She's in New Hampshire. And I said, what is the best part about being a dental practice owner? And she said, the autonomy to lead how I want to lead, right? And I said, what's the worst part of being a dental practice owner? And she said, I wanted to return my practice a year into buying it. So she seriously said, a year into buying her practice, she went to an orthodontist office and says, I don't know if I could do this. It's not for me. I never knew it would be like this. And I helped her get involved with an amazing coach. And now she's back on track. So I want to ask you that, Sierra, and you're so new at this, is awesome. What's one of the best parts of going from associate to owner? You wake up every day, you put on your superhero scrubs to make the most perfect emergence profile the world has ever seen. And what is the best part of being a dental practice owner?
So the best part for me of being a dental practice owner is being in my community that I grew up in and being able to give back to my community.
I love that.
And knowing that I'm doing everything that I can, and it's on me to provide for my home, my hometown, my people, my family.
And your communities need you. I mean, I actually was just on for my Dentist Job Connect. And there's a group in Wisconsin, and they're desperate for dentists because their community needs them. They don't have enough dentists to help fill the need, and they really struggle. So I commend you. Now, what is the most challenging cry inside part of being a dental practice owner?
Really kind of the split second decisions that you have to make sometimes that you just don't, it's on you.
And they also, here's the thing, and this happened to me once, the decision fatigue is massive. Barry Polanski talked to me about that. When you go from associate to owner, you have no idea how exhausting it is with the decisions. Associates are aunts and uncles of the practice. I'm an aunt or uncle, and I love being an aunt or uncle, and it's relaxing because when my nephew has a problem, I just give him back to my sister. This is not the one I own. When I'm a parent, I have to make those decisions. One time when I was like a 32-year-old dentist, my front desk came into the operatory and they're like, there's a bat in the attic. What should we do? And I go, I don't know, call the bat people. But that's what they ask you. Your team asks you so many questions as the leader, and they have nothing to do with going to dental school. And it's so difficult because so many things happen inside of this circus, and you've got to find a community of support. You have to find a way to make yourself not get too hot over all of it, but also not think it's a big deal. And I really think that's an important point that you brought out there.
Yeah, just being optimistic through everything, and that, it'll pass. We'll
Yeah.
get through it. Lean on the people you've got. And, my biggest piece of advice that, I give dental students and all the way up to, new dentists and stuff is everyone's human, including the people that you think are like so far above you. They're
Right.
just human. Talk to
Yeah.
them. They're great people. You just don't not have confidence to talk to everyone and create a big network.
Yeah, I totally love that message. We need to do more of that. So as we wrap up, is there anything I missed that you wanted to share for Dental Nachos TV, Dentist Job Connect TV, Dental Nachos Facebook? I so appreciate that you've done this. I just want to, did I miss asking you anything, or is there any watch out things or wonderful things that you wanted to share?
No, just the wonderful thing is just do it. It's worth being your own boss and waking up and feeling like this is my baby. I don't have kids, but this
And I'm
is
glad
my
you
baby.
said that. So this is a poignant day for me. This is my dad's birthday. He was the dentist, sadly passed away in 2016. And he never forced me to become a dentist. I want to be a dentist, doctor, or a lawyer, right? And he never said, oh, Paul, you should become a dentist. He would just say this. He said, being your own boss is really, really awesome. I can coach your sports teams. I can do things like that. So I think that's kind of an amazing thing. My dad graduated from dental school in 1969, right? You graduated from dental school in 2019. And even though dentistry is going through many challenges, the ability to be your own boss, lead with autonomy, as Darcy said, just do it is awesome. So Dr. Sarah, you're awesome. Stick around with me. And I so appreciate you sharing with us. Everyone else watching, you can visit dentistjobconnect.com or dentalnachos.com to find out about anything that we do. Have an awesome day.